and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday to you, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this October 13th. We are just about at 5 o'clock we are at 5 o'clock this morning, and it's time for a check of our weather with Eric Dean. Eric, we've got some fog this weekend, but we also had those cold temperatures, so I was all happy about that.
That's right. Now we are seeing some patchy fog as of right now. Take a look here at the big contenders near Harlan. Harlan's seeing zero visibility right now, so if you live in Harlan right now and you have plans over the next hour or so, make sure you keep the low beams on and allow yourself an extra few minutes to get to your destination. Same story in Middlesboro. We are seeing a little bit of patchy fog across the central and southern portion of Perry County. Clintwood seeing reduced visibility. Wise half-mile visibility as well. And you can see it's reduced over towards the Williamsburg, Monticello, Somerset area as well. There's the scene right now from our tower cam. Temperatures right now are in the 40s and 50s, so a chilly start to your Monday morning. All is quiet on live pinpoint Doppler radar. This is going to change, though, as we go into the weekend. Now, the question is, what is that going to consist of? I'll have that answer coming up in the first alert forecast in a few minutes. For right now, it is 5:01. We'll toss it back to Amelia.
Thank you, Eric. Well, we've learned more details on a deadly crash in Mercer County. It happened Friday night on US 68 by Chin Lane and Curry Pike. Kentucky State Police say only one car was involved. Troopers say the car veered off the road and crashed into a tree. That car's passenger was killed. KSP identified them as 38-year-old Danielle Vineyard, and we don't know whether or not the driver was hurt. The release of Ronald Exantis in Kentucky sparked national attention, and even the White House says they were looking into that case. He was charged with stabbing and killing a 6-year-old in Woodford County in 2015. A jury found him not guilty of murder by reason of insanity, but he was convicted of assault for stabbing Logan's father and 2 sisters. His 20-year sentence meant he was eligible for mandatory reentry supervision last week. He chose to serve the rest of his time in Florida, but on Thursday, he was taken back into custody in Florida. Officials say he failed to register as a convicted felon. Florida's Attorney General announced they want him off their streets and sent back to Kentucky.
Put him back behind bars where he belongs. And the outrage that we've seen from this nationally, I think stems from a few things. It stems from the seemingly loss of common sense in a judicial system in some places to turn somebody like this back out into the public.
They aren't sure why he chose to relocate to Florida, but they are aware that he does have family in the Sunshine State. In Washington today, the capital city landmarks are closed for the federal holiday. But with the shutdown, close is now status quo. On Face the Nation Sunday, both sides stood firm. More than 4,000 federal workers were sent termination notices last week, and hundreds of thousands, like Seton Parsons, have been furloughed. He was volunteering at a food pantry over the weekend while facing a squeeze himself.
Definitely lots of budget bites and cooking for yourself at home.
How long can you go without a paycheck? Most Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
For now, the Pentagon is still paying service members, bridging the gap by using $8 billion in unused research funds to cover this week's paychecks. Speaking to the press today, President Trump again threatened to end some government programs if the shutdown continues. The president has also said that layoffs will target federal employees for programs favored by Democrats. Meanwhile, the impacts are being felt across the federal workforce. That includes active duty service members and veterans. Alyssa Williams sat down with a Kentucky veteran to learn more about the shutdown's impact.
It's a situation veteran Brian Amberge says he's seen in the past, with the most recent shutdown being in 2019.
So a lot of our active duty military went over a month without a paycheck, and they was struggling. They're just like the rest of us. They got to have their money to live also.
While he's not feeling the impacts of this current government shutdown directly, Amberge is part of numerous military advocacy groups. He says while it's daunting to see those around him experience a halt on paychecks and benefits, President Donald Trump's announcement that funding from the Pentagon will go toward troops' pay is reassuring.
I'm hoping this coming week that everything can go back to normal.
Ambergy says for veterans, there are services that are also on pause right now. This includes VA benefits regional offices being closed, no grounds maintenance at VA cemeteries, and no transitional programming for active service members.
There was programs on every base that would help that person with getting a job or help them if they had got hurt while they was in the military, to help file claims.
On the flip side, he says veterans are still receiving compensation, pension, and housing benefits. Suicide prevention and homelessness programs are also continuing.
We lose 22 veterans every day to suicide, so I'm glad that they're still doing that.
Ambergy says active duty members and veterans can lean on organizations like their local VFWs or the American Legion to fill any gaps right now, but he's hoping Congress resolves the issue soon.
Come together and do what's right by the American people.
Alyssa Williams, WKYT.
For more information about which services are still available, you can head to our website, WYMT.com. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has issued an executive order targeting intoxicating hemp products that are packaged like popular candies. Ohio retailers now have until October 14th to remove these products from their stores or face a $500 fine. The West Virginia legislature has passed a law regulating industrialized hemp, including calling for regulations on packaging. Kentucky, too, has a law on the books that, among other things, bars hemp packaging from being enticing for children. One aspect of the U.S. economic engine could use a jump start. More people are having trouble making their car payments. A recent report from J.D. Power finds the percentage of new car buyers who have credit scores below 650 was close to 14% last month. That's the highest amount in 9 years. And more of those buyers who take on subprime auto loans are having trouble making payments. Findings from Fitch Ratings also show more than 6% were at least 60 days overdue on payments this year, and that's a new high. New concerns about the cost of your caffeine fix. Coffee prices are surging as new tariffs take hold and consumers turn more cautious. Kelly O'Grady sat down with the founder of a growing roastery as chains across the country confront the true price of your daily brew.
Coffee is a ritual. Coffee is something that people cherish every single day.
Gregory Zemfotis is the founder and CEO of Gregory's Coffee, a New York roastery with over 50 cafes nationwide. We first met in February when coffee bean prices had risen after years of bad weather in Brazil and Vietnam. 7 months later, Gregory's faces new challenges, from a more cautious consumer to tariffs.
Consumers are being a bit more choosy as to where they want to invest their money. When you're spending $4, $5, $6, $7 on a beverage, you expect it to be hitting the mark.
So everything from the coffee to the lid to the sleeve to the cup, how are tariffs impacting this simple cup of coffee?
A year ago, it would have been more traumatic because our cups are being made abroad. We successfully moved our paper goods all domestically earlier this year, so thankfully we're not facing a tariff when it comes to our paper goods. Unfortunately, what's inside the cup now is being heavily tariffed.
In April, most countries got hit with a 10% tariff, and more recently, another hike. Brazil, where the majority of Gregory's coffee comes from, now sits at 50%. Director of Coffee, Jake Leonti, gave us a behind-the-scenes look at their roastery.
Our next container will have that 50% tariff on it, and that's going to impact the business tremendously.
Leonti has considered sourcing more from other countries, but there are limitations.
Is it all created equal, or is it going to be a different taste for a consumer?
Every coffee has its own terroir, so it's going to have a different flavor. You can't just plug in any coffee to trade out of Brazil or in Nicaragua.
The price you pay at the store for a pound of coffee has jumped more than $2.50 compared to last year. Tariffs are partly to blame. Zemfotis has yet to raise menu prices, but he says it's inevitable.
If prices go up a few pennies, 4 or 5 cents across the board, we're hoping that that doesn't necessarily turn off our everyday customers to say, like, all of a sudden this feels completely out of whack with what I was expecting to pay. We would only be doing these things if it's a real economic impact or squeeze that we're feeling. It's definitely not something we love to do or feel comfortable doing, but to protect the business and protect our team, it's just a necessity right now, unfortunately.
Kelly O'Grady, CBS News, New York.
Well, thanks so much for getting your day started with us on Mountain News this morning at 5:10. A group of women on a mission to spread love with every art piece they make. We'll meet them coming up on The Good Side.
And in the world of weather, all is quiet for now, but that will change as we go into the next few days. Details coming up.